Before you think you need to either finish a music production school or get a degree to produce music, meet someone who is going to prove you otherwise. VINO is a producer from Netherlands that started to get traction after his She Sleeps in My Castle track. His tracks were already supported by artists like DN, Hades or Nicktonian, but what is making a buzz now is his track he made along with Jay-Z and Jovi. And we are so lucky to see today VINO decomposing this track for us. We will be taking a look inside of the FL Studio project of this tune, and along the way, Santa will show us a few interesting ways to either create new sounds or to process existing ones. And I assure you, inside of the video there will be some things that even I haven't thought of before, or things that I'm seeing for the first time. On top, VINO will also give you a handful of advice and general tips on music production. You can catch VINO on his either Instagram or SoundCloud page. And now let's dive into FL Studio. Thank you very much for accepting my invite to a YouTube channel. So I don't actually remember if it's you who wrote me or whether I contact you at first.
I have no idea. I think it was someone who said it.
Yes, there was a person who in my comments section told me that there's someone who would like to make a video with me on my channel. But yeah, here we are. And from what I remember, we wanted to see today how did you produce that track called Tape On, and along the way, when you will be deconstructing the project for us in FL Studio, we will also get some suggestions on screech or kick drum sounds, so something people asked you personally on Instagram.
Yes.
Okay, so what do we begin with? For now we have the whole playlist with the arrangement. Are we going to start with the arrangement, or maybe you can say a few words on what was the idea for the track and so on?
Okay, so this track, Tape On, is a collab with Jesse and Jovi. And what you see here is what they sent me. So they made this and sent it to me to see if I can work with this. Because we had no idea about a track yet. It was just, we knew, okay, we're gonna make a collab. I'll play this for you real quick. And this is what they sent me. So that is what I got. And so I like to work with like some sort of theme when I make a track, and their style is with like weirder Foley like sounds they said, and see that's in here as well. So I was like, okay, let's just take. I was like, I'm gonna just save the sounds from this project that I like, save them, and open a new project, put my kick over their kick, and see what comes out. So, for example, I think you'll hear it in the next project. You'll hear you'll recognize the sound. So I took their kick. I brought that one, this one as well. What else? I liked these impacts. What else? This one is also, you'll recognize this one.
Okay.
What else is there? Yeah, just a lot of these weird sounds. I took them because I didn't want to, it's a collab and I wanted to have their sound in there as well.
And
So
what
this one,
about a theme of the track? You have said that you like to
yes,
start a track with some theme.
yeah. So
Was
right now,
that sound in that project? Because for now we have been listening to various kick drums you have exported into a new project file.
yes, and uh, like these ones as well. That they are good, but I did not have a theme in my head yet. And the one thing that sparked pretty much the whole idea was this sound. She also said that this sound. Wait, it's coming. The second part of this right here. She said it sounds like it's saying Yovi, 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 Yovi. So it was like kind of like a producer tag-ish thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was like, okay, yes, I'm gonna do that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have in the track, I'm gonna have a producer tag that says our names, VINO, Jesse, Jovi. And then I was like, okay, what else can I do with my own voice? And I was like, bro, we're gonna just make this a what more perfect song could it be than Tape on My Titties, because she always plays with that. That's her trademark. I was like, that's perfect. People are gonna recognize it. People are gonna like it. So I was like, okay.
So does
And
it
that's,
mean that the vocal is not taken from anywhere, but one of you had to record these vocals?
it's my voice, yes.
Ah,
Um, so that's, yeah, then I came up with the idea. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna save all the good sounds and I'm gonna open a new project. And that project was this one.
even though this is a draft project, based on how many channels you have in the playlist, it seems to all be already filled with lots of sounds.
Yes, but yeah, so it was like, okay, I can work with this. But I just wanted to see what would happen if I just started from scratch with some of the sounds that they send me, because once I was listening to it and I thought about the idea, then yeah, the Tape on My Titties idea popped up in my head, and I was like, okay, let's just use that, because once you have a solid vocal, you already are you can come a long way, because with a vocal you can do a lot of stuff. You can have a lot of variations already in the track just with one vocal.
Yes, and everything will follow later along.
Yes, exactly. Because this track is, if you dissect it, it's pretty simple. It's just a kick, strong kick, good vocal, and it's a simple synth. But putting everything together, it just makes it good. Yeah, there's
Similarly
loads.
to that recent Phantasm EP released on Reckless, where you also don't have that many sounds, but everything is just
Yeah,
sampled so well.
yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of that as well. When you just have a couple sounds and you make it work. Some tracks are just way too like you just hear too much. It's too claustrophobic. Simple is good. Um, let's see. Okay, then yeah, okay. I started with this. I was just gonna say, okay, I took some of the good sounds. I took their kick, the mono kick, and then I had the Vino. I made a kick for them for this track, which is this one. So I layered them and I was just putting stuff. See how small this is as well? It's just like that's how I work. I just work with little ideas, and then once I think, okay, I can start arranging it properly, then it's literally you just take sounds that you like and fit a certain theme is what I always do, and then just start puzzling with the arrangement. So this is what I had now. you'll recognize some of the sounds as well. Like these at the bottom here are all from the previous file. These as well. This one I sound designed with just some random snares, I think. And it didn't have a purpose, so I was like, okay, I'll just save it and maybe it'll come in handy later. And it sounds like this. It's just I don't even know what it is. It's just some snares. And then I got this. And in this empty space as well, you can just hear it. It's not there anymore, but you hear the vocal, and I was like, okay, that's gonna be the vocal. So then I went over. I just used my headset mic. It's a crack mic. You hear it now. It's not that good quality, but it works. And the reason why I record my own voice is because when you use your own voice, you can very precisely have the timing of when what is said. Like even the pronunciation, it's the best. If you try to find a vocal online, there's no way you're gonna find the one you want exactly. So when you do it yourself, you can have the timing, everything right. And then you take that file, I put it into a AI vocal thing, and then it turns into whatever, like if you want a woman or a guy or whatever.
Such at least you exists?
Yes. And at least you have the timing right. That's what it's all about with this. And this is cringe, but yeah, this is what is the original.
Tape on my titties. Tape. No, it's not. Tape on my titties.
Okay.
Tape on my titties.
So it's just
tape on my titties.
Wait.
Tape on my titties. Tape on my titties.
See, it's just it's just different takes, and then I just record a whole sentence of different types of saying it, kind of close to what I want. What is this? This is another one, I think.
Tape on my titties.
Yeah, and then I don't have the one I transformed it into. That's in the next project, but I just took that. Oh wait, maybe it's here. No. Okay. But I took that's the raw one. You just heard it, and then I put it into a AI. It's called AudiMe. It's a website, and you can choose like what kind of person you want. They all have names, and this one was called Nicole. And so it's a girl, and then you put in the file, and you can edit the pitch and the percentage it's gonna alter the sound, and then you just find a couple good ones, and I'll show you in the next project what came out of that, because this was this without the vocal, and this is where I got the idea for the vocal and the drop. So this was the main idea, and I was gonna work this further.
Yeah, there is already an empty space for the vocals in that arrangement, but the vocals are not finished there yet.
Yes.
And is that website free to use?
Yeah, I'll show you. Okay, so you put in the one you recorded. So that's this.
Tape on my titties.
And then you now it's set on Mark, and I picked these are all free. The ones that don't say upgrade, they're free. I picked Nicole. And then I forgot which one I did, but for example, I think I had 3 different for this one. I had 3 different ones, and I'll show you in the project. But for example, you pitch it, and you put on the strength. I always do because I have a shit mic. Remove noise, and then convert, and then it's gonna convert.
Actually, if you are going to use such many different tools, like one could use distortion and someone else could use AudiMe thing. The quality of the microphone maybe doesn't matter that much because the
No.
vocals will be transferred in a way that maybe even those crackles and noises are actually giving you some advantage.
Yeah, yes. And yeah, and the only reason I do it like this is literally because I said you can have the perfect timing on what they want you to say, you know? You can say something quick, something slow. Yeah, that's why. So this is what comes out.
Tape on my titties.
Yeah, and this sounds like a grandma, but
Tape, no. Tape on my titties.
but then I just do this a couple times until I find one that sounds cool. And this one sounds cool, so I would save this one. That's what I did as well. I recognize it already. Okay, close this. Next project is the V2. Yeah, and once I had that vocal, I was like, okay, this is gonna be the track because it's too perfect. So I just had to perfect the vocal, and I hope this one loads quick. And the reason I have so many different projects is because we kept sending the project over, you know, with the stems. And I just like to work in a clean one again once I have the new stems.
That means if you, for example, later do the mixing and mastering, which you have said you do on your own, do you also export all the stems and create a new project for that?
Yeah.
Don't
But only at the final one. Yeah.
Don't you feel any need to return to the arrangement, for example?
No, because I only go into mixing once it's like I'm perfectly happy with everything. That's like and I also do it while I produce sometimes. So I mix while I'm doing it already because I've done it a lot now and I know what I want the certain volumes to be in certain places. So I do it at the same time basically. Yeah, because back in the day I used to, like you said, really once I had the final project, export all the stems, put that back in the new one, and then rearrange. But I just noticed I'm doing twice the work when I do that because if I already do it in the actual project, it just works.
Personally, I would say it makes sense if either your project right now is very disorganized or if your computer just can't handle more plugins.
True. Like this one's a bit of a mess because all the stems are down there. But now this one, it really starts to take shape. So what I just showed you, that project, the vocal was in there as well. That's what I sent to Jesse and Jovi again, and they have done because I had the idea for this track, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make the track basically. So I pretty much almost finished the track, and I couldn't help to do it. So and then I sent that to them, and I said as well, like, listen, I couldn't help myself but to just literally make what I made so far. And all the stuff that they've added afterwards was perfect. Like I thought it was pretty much done, and then they added their stuff, and it was perfect. They did a great job of just adding the stuff that I didn't hear at the end.
And the whole idea of the track, once again, came just from that very short vocal samples, and you had the idea to record your own ones.
Yes, and just her whole persona, you know, it was perfect to have, and it's kind of my style as well. So I have these edgy songs like Take 'Em Off as well. Yeah, it's just what works. So that's how that came about. Wait, where is the vocal? Because this one is perfect. Oh, it's in the second one. Yeah, okay. The intro, like see all these stems, that's what they added. It's perfect because the intro was very naked, and this one is now they added. It was perfect. I'll show you. This is what I mean. Look, this is what I wanted to show you. These are all the individual. So I just showed you the AI thing. This is one of those. So after I clicked down on the website, this is what I got. And I like that layer, but not solo. So I made another one, put it over it.
Tape on my titties. Tape on my titties.
So they all complement each other because solo they sound too empty. together they sound better.
tape
And then with the
on my
third layer,
titties, tape,
I liked it the best.
tape on my titties, tape,
This one has some texture as well to it. So
Mhm.
it's like a texture, normal voice, scary voice, and together they sound
tape on my titties,
like this.
tape on my
And yeah, so it went from my own voice to this,
titties.
and then I just cut the the arrangement to sometimes be it like tape on my titty boom right on the drop,
Mhm.
and in the more early in the song it's just yeah, just shorter, quicker. That one, this is just 2 layers, you see? It's like the middle one is missing. This one is just the top and the bottom again. It's just, that's how you can play with the vocals. So that you have already some, and then it just keeps having the scary voice, and then after the drop, the middle one comes back in. And then after the drop, it's all 3 again.
Tape, 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 pomma, 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 tape on my titties.
And then
And all of these 3 different vocals come from the same website. You just use the different settings
Yes,
of pitch shifting
it's
and
this.
such.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same. They all use the same raw file, which was my own voice, and then they are all just pitched differently on the website. But it's also the same. So yeah, it turns into the voice of Nicole on the website.
And that's why the vocals sound that cool. I really thought it comes from some sample pack. So now when you said that, yes, that tape on my titties is, yeah, it sounds, when you told the backstory behind the track, yes, now it sounds way too specific. So there's no way, yes, you could take these vocals from somewhere.
No, it was literally yeah. You heard the raw. It was just me, and yeah, in the website. And then this is one layer, for example.
Tape on my titty.
And yeah, if you take another one, like if you maybe wait, I think 0 is gonna sound like the normal one. Let's see. I think it used to show my history here, but for some reason it doesn't. I think I've used it not too long ago. Because then I could just literally see the ones I made. What now?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you would just download this one, and then this one is
Tape on my titties.
yeah. See, this one is
Tape on my titties.
the normal one. But let's see. So yeah, then you have this 3 different ones, and I think in the mixer that was in the last project, but the raw one is missing. I think I only used, what was it? Little Radiator is a plugin I use sometimes. Just it has a preset that's called Bass Beef, and it just makes it a little vocals just a little bit beefier, a little bit more in your ear instead of so far away, and that's what I put on this.
Tape
So that's
on my titties.
why it sounds like that. And that the one what I was gonna show you as well is you know how I said in the beginning that there was one sample that looked like it said Jovi.
Yes, I do remember that.
I was like, okay, we've heard Tape on My Titties the whole time, Tape on My Titties. Let's do a producer tag somewhere in the end, and I should be in here.
Tape on my
Yeah, here.
tape on my titties.
Where is it?
Tape on my titties. Tape on my titties.
Is it this one?
Jesse.
Yeah.
Jovi. VINO.
So
Tape.
the same method I used here with our producer tags. So it says Jesse, Jovi, VINO.
Jesse. Jovi. VINO. Jesse.
It's just yeah, that's just how I make those vocals. And for example, this little line here is just noise, but I like to keep weird noises in there as well. It just adds to the whole image of the whole track. So I'll show you a couple more layers now then you can kind of feel how it all sounds together. Like for example, this layer really adds in the beginning. This is what they made. So I don't know how they made it, but yeah, It's just a loop, I think. And yeah, that's just how I keep adding stuff. And one of my signature things that I keep on doing nowadays is this little, it's the kick roll. It's that, yeah, I just keep repeating that in my songs, so it's also kind of like recognizable. And then
You're
the whole
talking only about that sound on track 8, yes? Here we have
yes,
that kick
this
roll.
one, yeah. Yeah, it's the kick. Let's see, it's the kick 53 with a gross beat on it, which makes it go like this. It stutters. And I always use that nowadays in my tracks. But it just adds a little, it's another movement, you know, when you have these sections, every time you want to change something and everything together just sounds perfect. And it's literally for all producers, the biggest tip that you just can do is just make weird random sounds with the plugins you have. It can be anything. You can use a kick, distort it, reverse it, put anything on it, even if you record some noise. You can just keep making weird sounds, and when you have a bunch of weird sounds, try to fit them together, and you will have, if you have the ear for it, you will have some idea of like, oh, that's gonna sound sick. And maybe it doesn't, but that's how you just make original stuff. It's just by making weird noises that you don't even know how you made it, but you just did. That's what I always do. That's what I showed you here in the beginning. It's just everything is weird. And once I put everything together, wait, shall I show some more before I
Once you have just said to experiment with random effects or sounds, we could also take a look at how did you create that snare roll from the
Yeah.
intro, because this was the sound that you have also done by yourself, and that would fit that random maybe experiments description.
Yeah.
I'm also interested in what was the, let's say, initial sample. How did you either loop it or transform it? If you can show it this would be great.
Yes, I'll have to look in the other file and search if I find it, because I know it's with a snare, but I can't remember. It's in the, yeah, okay, it's in the first one I showed you. It's the one, the Jane one. And what did I do? I think it was Trash I put on there. Yeah, I'll find it. So yeah, once I put everything together, and I like I said, I kept trying to keep the original stuff from their first project as well. Like their kick is in there under there. This sound is from the original. It's just a weird ambience. What else? Yeah, the hi-hats are just very simple hi-hats, but that's because the power of this track comes from the vocal and the synth. This sound is also the one from the original. It's just a riser to throw you in the kick again. And like last project as well, you could just, once you hear the vocal now, you can hear where the vocal needed to be, because when you just listen to the build-up without the vocals, where are the vocals? I keep losing them. Oh, here. You hear where they should be. Like this is just only the and you can just hear that she needs to say tape right here on the thing, and just keep repeating that tape, 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 and then on my, 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 tape on my titties, and that's, yeah. It's just I like short breaks as well, short build-ups, just enough, because I don't want people to stand still. They need to dance. Yeah, and then with
Tape on my titties. Tape on my titties. Tape on my titties. Tape on my titties.
And then it comes back to the normal hi-hats coming in, and then we finished it with the
Jesse, Jovi, VINO.
Jesse Jovi VINO. And it's, yeah, like if you look at it now, it's a very simple track, and the synth is also very simple because the synth was just this, and oh, it's not, and that was just a preset. So this one, I just found this, and I put it under the kick because I just looped the kick, and then I started to search for some things. Which pattern is this for? And it just worked for this track, and it's this. This is the preset. I don't think I changed a lot on this, but it just works. And that's the thing. Once it works, you just don't change too much, and that's literally how this. Yeah, it's easy, this one. Sometimes
So you
they
didn't
just
have to change much, even the
no.
distortion, yes, comes from Serum.
Yes. Wait, let me show you let me see, for example. Yeah, I don't think I changed much on this one. I think I just cycled through this, the distortion presets, and 50. Oh yeah, I do use OTT on some synths. I just like the sound. It's yeah, like I said, this one is very simple. Just remove some bass. That's what I always do. If I don't like something, I remove it. It's just, like I said, this is a pretty scary, simple project, but if it works, it works. Not every project has to be super complicated, because once you have a strong, I feel like once you have a strong concept or idea, it just flows, you know?
Yeah, but I would say that while the main elements of the track, we have just a few of them. That is that synth you showed me a minute ago. You have the main vocals and the kick drum. You could say that these are the main elements of the track, so that's why the project is simple. But
Yeah.
when you look at the whole playlist, there will be lots of small one-shots, lots of short one-shots arranged in various places. Maybe someone would refer to these sounds as ear candy. One could say these are ghost channels. I see lots of sounds like that in this project. So that's could be the reason for why I would say the track works.
Yep.
Yeah, but you say it's simple because if you listen it for the first time, you tend to just put your attention to the kick drum or the synthesizers and the vocals. But if you would listen to the same track for the 10th or 20th time, you would start to notice these very short white noise sound effects or all of these weird clicks you have in the background.
Yeah.
Actually, how many of such little sounds you have here throughout the project? Do you feel like they play a big role in the whole track?
Yes, because otherwise it gets too static. So you have to have some kind of movement in the background. That's why I always use weird stuff like this. It just, you just to keep it interesting, I just keep adding these weird little noises to complement the rest. And it's always this is one of the, I think, the easiest arrangements that techno has. It's literally it starts with the intro, then you have wait, where's the intro? Yeah, so kick. It starts with the kick, then the hi-hats come in, then some then you tease the synth, and then the break comes, and the break and the drop, and then it repeats, and then it ends. So it's a simple arrangement, but that's what a track like this needs, because you need to keep introducing stuff to get to the final drop. And the way you keep it interesting in such a basic arrangement is with those little sounds, and those are the ones from the original, like stuff like this. These ones, this one is very. It's almost like a. Yeah, it's almost like the synth as well, but yeah, it just adds these little background noises here. You don't even know what it is, but you just hear it. Like this, like it's like a.
Mm-hmm.
And here as well, I took out the bass to keep it interesting again, because when you remove this bass and you add another riser here, you feel like you're in a new segment of the track, because you are. Because now you have the groove from the hi-hats, and they just keep building up until you have the break. And that's why I like to keep the break short, because then you keep the same energy. If everything would go quiet here, like why would then the whole use of the first part is not there. So that's why I keep those short. Yeah.
But
What
all of
else?
these things, that is the length of the breakdown, or how do you sequence all these short sounds? This is something that you just feel like where each sound should belong, or you
Yeah.
have some sort of a
This is
method or
this is a
template?
lot of this is a lot of trial and error, this one. And because if you DJ as well, then you would know, like, these 4 bars, like it would just or wait, 16 bars I think. You know that something has to change, and if you make a track like that, somehow you always end up with the same arrangement. It's
Mm-hmm.
always this short, the intro, then you have the kick, hi-hats, break, drop, and that's just how it's just the most pleasant. I feel like the most pleasant one to listen to. And yeah, some people put the break even earlier, like after this, but I'd like to have the kick continue, and you have to give some break. So and then I like to keep it short, and that's just how it happens. That's what you do when you finish a track and you listen to it. Everything is there for a reason. Like if you really listen to a track and you listen to all the sounds you hear, they are all there in the right place. Like if you introduce a sound in the beginning, you cannot just leave it. It needs to come back. It needs to evolve somehow to keep the track progressing. And that's just how it turns out when you have if you have that kind of ear for it and you listen to it, it just automatically falls into place. And I feel I tried a lot of different sounds, but if you don't like it, take it away. If you like the sound, keep it. Does the sound have a purpose? Keep it. Like here, this weird sound at the bottom here, it stops here, but you don't recognize it that it's gone here because you introduced a new sound. Pattern 2 comes in here. And this pattern 2 is also from the original file that they sent me.
Mm-hmm.
It's this. And then together they sound like this. And it's so long and it stops here and then it goes again. So you just keep, you need to have some sort of sound. Like if you can't see this and you close your eyes and you listen to it, like your favorite track as well, there's always something happening to keep your ears entertained, literally. Like you said, it's ear candy, these little sounds, because you want to hear something to keep your attention on the track.
Yeah,
And
that
that's just
some sort of a wind noise you have showed me a few minutes ago is a good example.
Yeah.
If I didn't see the playlist and if I listened to your track for the first time, I could maybe even I couldn't maybe even notice that sound
Yeah.
in the background.
hmm
But now once you clearly point out that here something
Yeah.
is added, now it seems very obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what makes a good track, I feel like. It's you just listen to it and everything falls into place and you it's just yeah, that's what the best tracks are like. The ones I listen to as well, they're just I don't know, they have something. They keep it interesting and the arrangement makes itself almost. When you have certain sounds, you will know where to put what. Just by if something feels off, it probably feels weird because it's not supposed to be there. And when it sounds good, you did a good job. So yeah, it is nothing really I can tell, I think, about this anymore.
Yeah, and it's also way easier to arrange a track if you have these small sounds and if you indeed
Yeah.
try to use them quite often, because if you didn't, you could end up using, let's say, 50 different one-shot effects.
hmm
But then if all of them were played in the same track, it would be
Yeah,
difficult to say what is the theme of the track or what's the idea behind it if
exactly.
you have a few different vocals and then a few different, I don't know, reverb kick drums. The whole track would sound all over the place then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty about music, I think. Like all the best tracks, if you listen to them more often and you actually listen to the sounds you hear, then you experience way more sounds than you actually thought were in the track. Like you said, the ones in the beginning you don't even notice until you actually start to dissect the whole track by listening to it more times. And yeah, this is how techno works. And the synth is just like this whole track is based around the synth and the vocal. So all the other stuff is yeah, it's just there to fill the track. Otherwise it's too empty. And you cannot just keep using the vocal the whole time, you know, it needs to in the beginning not even be there and it slowly creeps up and build up and then it hits. That's just how this works.
And if you remember your first few months or years of music production, do you think back then you tried to use way more different sounds in your projects, or was it
hmm
the other way around? Because I
No,
feel like, well, of course, I don't have any statistics on that, but
hmm
if I take a look into tracks made by beginner producers,
hmm
they seem to have a lot of different channels with a lot of different sounds, and it's unusual to see a project with over 50 channels.
Yes. So in the beginning, I can show you. Wait, in the beginning, so the track that started it all for me was "She Sleeps in My Castle," because that is the one who gained. Wait, can I see the date? Okay, I'll show this one real quick. Is that okay if I show this one?
Of course.
Uh, okay, so this is the one where it started with. So this is like 2 years ago, no, almost 2 years now, like a year and some months. And this is literally also just what I thought sounded good. And this one has even less tracks. But this one is a great example of putting everything in the right place. And I didn't not know I did it, but I kind of did it on purpose, but it just sounded good. And once I progressed in my production and I listened to other people, I also noticed, wait, my tracks are actually way too empty. Um, so I'm starting to do a little bit more now, but this is a great example of a track that is literally maybe it has I don't even know 6 stems maybe, and it works. It's literally this one is actually kick, hi-hat, a couple of lead sounds, but it works. Okay, so what is missing is just the heads and some percussions, but as you can see, look at this. This is the whole file. That's crazy. Um, and I remember the way this is a funny story. of the intro, you see how the intro don't even make sense on the grid. You see it starts at 1 too far. That's because I did not know what I was doing. But that's because this intro is still the weirdest thing that ever happened to me while producing. So what it was I had no clue how everything worked. All I knew was how to find some sounds, and I knew, okay, I just have to go with the flow, you know. If I find a sound, I'm just gonna have to work with that sound, and that's what it was. So this came about, this intro was literally me in Techno HN1, it's called. There was a preset called something with ammonia or something. Where was it?
On top you have the ammoniac kit.
Yes, that one. Okay, listen to this, yeah? All these sounds. So I was like, I'm just gonna fuck around with my mouse. So I opened Edison. Like that. And I went like this. And I just recorded some weird stuff. And I'm not joking. The first ever time I did that is the one that made the final song. Like, this is the first time I ever did that. And I don't know how it became so perfect, this intro, but it worked. See how the ending is perfect, like the release of the sound is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just copied it. I just kept on copying that, and then we had this sound. It's just a choir with rose on it. This is the same. This was a loop from Splice. Then we have here. It's the same. Then we found one more. It's like a baby or woman. Yeah, it's a woman, and it's a pitch down version, which is it. And we combine those two, and that's literally the whole track already.
Yeah,
But
and
it
once
works.
again, you are layering different parts of the vocals, so this is what
Yes.
we have seen in the tape on track.
Yeah, and these are just, there was no thought behind this. It was just, okay, we have a couple sounds. I know how to make a couple of sounds. All I knew was like gross beat. It was all I kind of knew how to use. I didn't even have plugins here. I did not have Serum here. It was just the kick that I made with the Nibiria guy from the beginning. And you can hear this is a very, like, what I make now, it's a very soft kick. And you can kind of hear the hardcore in it, in the punch. But that's it, and that's how simple it just should be. But if you only have a certain amount of tools, you just have to use them. So this just goes to show that everyone, you don't need. I mean, I love plugins, don't get me wrong, but you don't need them if you have a good ear for what sounds cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, yeah.
Do you feel like arranging this track was easier because you had less sounds than arranging the tape on track, or what did you feel when you have been
Well, for
arranging this one? Mm-hmm.
yeah, this arrangement, it literally made itself, because it was like like I said before, it was, you just had to count, and every time, like every 16 bars, something new comes. Yeah, so the hi-hats came in here, and then the vocal will come in, because that's the thing, you just keep adding stuff to keep it interesting. And now you hear a new sound, and you're like, oh, what's this? And wow, keep in mind that the hi-hats are playing here as well. And then, because I ran out of sounds here, I just like switched up this pattern again. The pattern from the beginning. then something has to change again, and then you take a little break, and then another sound comes in, which was the synth. You just introduce the synth. And then you have a break, which is the intro again, like the same beginning. So it's very simple, but it works. And this as well, we were like, okay, the synth it's just good on its own. You know, it's very naked and quiet, this sound, but it works. Like this simpler, it can't get any simpler than this track. But yeah, that's just the power of having some good selections that complement each other. And that was not meant like that. I had no idea about this. It just worked. I found these sounds. I made this weird one in the beginning, and the rest is just, yeah, it just fell into place. And this is like this compared to the drops we have now. This is, I don't even know if this is a drop. That's how how simple this is. But yeah, it just worked.
It's impressive that you made an intro by using this plugin and mashing
Yes.
your keyboard as fast as you could. Because
Mhm.
normally, if you try to make a sound, well, personally, I would think of trying some random LFOs or something like that. But
Yeah.
your approach is much easier and more creative. I
Yeah.
have never seen anyone doing something like that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the one in Hurt as well. It's just because was honestly maybe even the strongest point I had back then was not knowing how to do stuff, because you have to, then you come up with weird ways, you know. Now you kind of know how to do stuff, but the creativity comes from stuff like this, just trying stuff. I mean, in FL Studio and everything, you can record almost everything you do. So just try to, instead of putting everything in the piano roll, try to just put on Edison and just click on stuff. Sometimes I record, sometimes my plugin, when I close my plugins, my speakers, they like empty the bass or something like that. Some weird noise comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I record that sometimes. With everything, you can record it and you have something unique when you record weird, random things that FL Studio does. That's how you come up with this shit and some stuff. And sometimes,
Yeah, there are also tracks that have the whole bass line coming from just a sound you hear when you turn on your speakers, turn
yes,
the volume very high, and touch the jack input.
yes,
Then there's some
exactly.
sort of that buzzing sound, and I've seen tracks with a bass line from just that sound, and they
Yes.
sounded good.
And that's very creative. Like that's how you come up with stuff that you cannot replicate. Like even like the first thing I showed, I just tried to do it. I cannot do this. There's no way I can do it like I did it the first time. No way. And it was perfect. And yeah, that's just how you create those weird sounds. You just use those plugins, and or no plugins, because there were no plugins here, but only the tech that I showed you, which is free by the way, this one, Techno, this one. Yeah, and that's just how you should start. Like, I think it's the most important part is just make a folder and just fuck around in the program. Save everything, record everything in Edison, and you will just build a library of weird noises that no one else has, and that's how you can make your own style someday, just by doing that.
Coming back to the tape on track, you've said you could open the first version of the project so we could see
Yes.
how did you make these snare rolls from the intro.
Yes. Let's see. I hope they're in here. Otherwise I try to do it again. I need to think what I did. I think it was, I knew it was a couple snares, but what did I put on it? Yeah, so it started with this. I think I put, like, there's one step before this, but what is it? Yeah, you can kind of see the snares in here, the pop, pop. I had that sound. How did I make that sound? I'll just try to replicate it.
I think what we could do is you can try to sequence a few snare drums in a similar way, and then you can apply the same process in chain you already have in that channel. So we can.
Yes.
That would be the quicker way to show.
Okay, maybe it was a clap. Let's try this. Okay, so you have a clap. 41.
So at first we have some distortion from the trash, and then the portal is a delay plugin.
Yeah, the portal is, yeah, it's just a randomizer basically. Just, yeah, it just randomizes the sound timing and stuff. Like this is just, like trash. So for example, if I would try to make a weird sound, I would maybe I take the kick, for example, instead of the snare. I take the kick. Make this unique. I'll just I don't know, do some weird stuff like this. I never know what I do when I do something like this. I just try something. So make unique. Okay, let's put this in a different one. This is just how I always do it. I know that people are watching and they're like, why are you doing it like that? Okay. For example, let's take out the bass. Low cut. Okay, what do we have?
And from now on, do you already have some idea on what do you want to do, or still?
No,
we are trying.
I have no idea what I want to do now. No, I always just try some stuff. So I would do this now, for example. Let's just put some push on there. Like this, for example, could be some percussion, hi-hat. For example, I'm just testing everything right now. You see?
Yes, we
I'm
could
just,
see that.
yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing now, but I'm just listening to something that sounds usable. For example, if I would record this, that is okay, kind of try to find the beginning of one of this maybe. I don't like this part. Now let's see if I maybe can make something with this again. That you just keep doing weird stuff until I find something good. And sometimes I don't find something good and then I go to something else. Let's add portal.
Yeah, and basically the whole cycle of re-recording and applying effects could
Yes,
happen again until
until I find something like this. I could already use. Like this, I could use. Let's find the right. Yeah, this could be literally could be percussion somewhere in the track. Let's see. Maybe not with this kick, but let's see.
let's see that.
Let's kick on. That's just you can't think of that before you make it, you know. It's just you have to just find some stuff, and I could save this loop in some folder and use it for my next project for like percussions, literally, and it just sounds good. And that's what was it in origin. It was like 4 kicks originally, you know. You can, that's the beauty about sound. You can actually make anything weird with everything just by keep repeating the process I just did. You just record something, try that, and then you can make endless different things. And if you actually find a groove or a way to make stuff like that, you can just keep repeating the same trick and just yeah. And this is pretty. I think this is a pretty good groove to just have underneath as percussions, especially for industrial. So that's basically what my day is like, just doing stuff like this until you find something good.
Aside
And
from the OTT, Isotope Trash, and that Portal plugin, do you have some other favorite tools you could
well,
say a few words about?
yeah, right now because I for a long time I did not have Serum, but now I have it and now I use it all the time, but I'm still learning it as well. So the way I make like synths right now is just I either find some presets on Splice or something that I just change, or I go in the same process again of just doing weird stuff. Like, let's see, this is just I don't even know what it sounds like. It's just all weird stuff and screeches. I have a folder with screeches, but let's see, what's this? Yeah, I learned from this. You know, if you look at this, you know, and you can just copy it. You just try to any sound you can make sound aggressive. Like it just all comes from this, and then I try to, for example, change this. I just try to change presets until I find something cool, and if I find something cool again, like this, for example, I might as well record this as well.
In Edison?
Yeah. Sometimes I just record this. Edison is, I think maybe I use that the most. Oh wait, you have to. Wait, why? Oh, C never works. Wait. That's so weird. Why does it never do it? Yeah, C never works. I cannot press C, but V works. And this is how I made the synth in Hurt as well. It was just me recording a synth, or like just this is just a scream, and then you just record this. Let's go to the recording station. And it's good to just have days like this. If you have nothing to do or nothing to make, just have one of these days where you just go into an empty project and just keep making weird stuff. I've also recently, my whole career, I've been struggling with making kicks. Like I know some people love my kicks, but my kicks are they are so different to the rest because I don't know, they just lack like a low end most of the time. They're so loud, but they have almost no low end.
Mm.
But I set aside last week to try and really fix that. So now I have a good kick that is probably gonna be my new kick, basically.
And this kick is in that project.
Yeah, it's this kick.
And also it's the project where we will use that recorded screech.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it will be this. So this is the new kick that I am gonna kick new and improved. V2. But it's still a concept. I need to add hi-hats and stuff. But same as this one, this is also made the same way I showed you last time. It's just random. But it's just one of those sessions, and then I just saved it as a recorded sample, and then you just play around with it. So let's try to make that screech work. Because the problem with those loud screeches is if you just put it over the kick, it will clash because it's so loud, so present. Stems. See, I like one sound that's in there, and I want to capture that one. It's that one. Right at the end, somewhere. This one. that sound.
Oh, I see.
I like this sound.
You could just use a reverb and that's it.
On this one,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
What I wanted to ask in the end is, what is your approach to using automations in the arrangement? There are a lot of automation clips in the project, so I'm not sure how many automations are there in the whole track in total. So if you could also say a few words about that, this would
Always.
finish the composing the tape on track.
Is it still sharing?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't see the green. Okay. Yeah. So this automation you see here is always for the kick. When I want the kick to be gone, like this one, it's just a EQ. Like it's taking away the bass. This one. Yeah, this one just turns on the.
Mm-hmm. Can we turn
Yeah.
down the volume on the master back to -16? Okay.
Yes, perfect. Yeah. So this one, I'll do it again. This
Mhm.
one takes away the bass. Then I have some other ones which are volumes for the synth, for example. Here you see that the synth is pattern 4 is playing the whole time, but I just put the volume up so it slowly comes up.
tape, tape, tape.
Then it goes all the way down until the drop, and then it hits on the drop, comes back.
Titties.
Then sometimes I use some effects on some samples. Where was it? Here is a mix level. It's normally all the automations is just basic with my projects because all the automation and stuff happens in the what I just showed you. You know how I make these. Is it crashing? Oh, how I make these kinds of like just sounds. Automations are normally really basic with me. It's just volume, and sometimes I have to put an effect on it or something. I used to have when I used a lot of gross beat. I used to have a lot of automations at the bottom, all for gross beat, because I used to have different gross beat parts that were on some parts, and then you have then it's a whole circus down there with automations. But other than that, all the automations are pretty simple. And for example, if I need like this is also volume, but FL Studio made an update that you can just add the volume like this, so it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
And other automations are not really that special, I think. It's just balance. All of it is balance and filter. I see a delay here. What's this? Yeah, also all balance. So that's all volume, and that's how I do it basically.
Mm-hmm, I see. So that typical set of volume, filter, and maybe sometimes panning automations.
Yeah, just a basic. Yeah, not too much.
Yeah,
I've
but
seen some
mhm.
projects that will go crazy, but I just like to have it in stuff like this. I like to pre-record the sounds, and then otherwise it gets too busy.
Yes, also inside of these exported and pre-recorded sounds, there are already some automations that just got
Yes.
exported with the
Yeah.
sound. But also we could say that because you have so many of these small and short sounds in the project,
Yeah.
it's natural that you also don't need that much of automations, yes, to make a track interesting.
Yes.
Would you like to say something in the very end? Usually it's here the moment to say some more general advice to beginner producers.
Yeah, the thing is I feel like there's two types of producers. There's the producers who like have gone to a school for this and haven't, who just learn from their home like I did and learn from others. And the best tip that I can give you, especially in the beginning, because you have so many options and everything works, it's very hard to know where you need to start. And just by talking to other producers, going to their studio, seeing how they do it. Then you kind of start, and doing it yourself, obviously. Then you start to get like a real sense of, okay, they do it like this. So if I do it like this, it's kind of okay, but just put your own twist to it. Because in the beginning you can overthink a lot because there's so many options and you're like not sure if what you're doing is correct. But you have to always keep in mind it's not about how it looks on this screen, it's how it sounds. If it sounds good, then there's nothing to worry about. The people who don't produce, they're not gonna be like, no way, he really EQ it like that. Like people don't listen like that. It's just us who listen to it in that way. They don't care, they just want to hear a good track. And yeah, it's just like I just showed you, it's if you have a little bit of creativity, you can come a long way with just making weird sounds that that just only you are unique to you. And I would just suggest find a couple plugins. That's how I found plugins, just on YouTube, searching for plugins. Find some that work for you. I'm not that technical when it comes to like compression, limiting, everything like that. That's rocket science to me. It's just it's just I just do what sounds hard in my ears, and that's basically how I produce. It's just trying. I never know. Sometimes I have an idea, like with tape on, but the other times it's literally just I find some sounds, and then it's with those sounds the idea starts flowing, and that's how the track becomes the track that it is. It's just by testing, finding stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to everyone who also don't know all of the details when it comes to using a compression or limiting, if you don't know everything you think you should know about music production, it shouldn't stop you from doing that.
No,
Okay.
exactly. And it takes time. It does take time. Like it's a lot of putting time into this because some people are just very gifted with knowing all the technical stuff. But if you're not, then you just have to find out yourself what works and what doesn't work. And I'm sure I make a lot of mistakes now as well, if you look at it from the technical side. But it's at the end of the day, it's literally about how it sounds, not how you got there.